So when laws are made to control the people who didn't make the laws. When you look at the world, when I look at the British Empire, how do you control people on 5 different continents to do things how you want them to do them and continue to follow the same format? You have to create laws for them to abide by, for them to follow, because again, they have to come back to you who have created the law and the illusion around what justice looks like, to be able to continuously have a voice or continuously work to be able to develop what you are is for your families or for the greater good of humanity or for the greater good of society. But when you look at it at the end of the day, your jobs and your contributions are designed to impact your society, your countries. So your salaries are, in essence, already being used by somebody else to benefit the growth of your nations. So the idea is not to control those who allow you to be able to have healthcare, have education, go and have your party, drink beer, have your tradition, do your rites of passage, do all of those things. It's not for us to be controlled, because we're allowing you to have those freedoms where others don't come in to interrupt that. The laws are for you to be controlled amongst yourselves so that you don't breach any of the agreements, and you also don't start to grow your own concepts away from the society that we have given you for you to exist in. It's not, but what the laws that we are all bound by at the moment show is evidence. Do we have evidence to prove these things over this time period? And yes, we look at generic history, but specific, when you get to specifications around how do you acquire certain areas of land, this is where the legal systems that we're all bound under comes down to evidence. So when we talk about justice, there are incountable insurrections that our communities have faced. There is countless amounts of things that have happened where justice, from the perspective of what just looks like, we will never be able to receive. And when it comes down to the occupation of our lands, of our infrastructures, when we're looking for justice in this time in 2021, it's important that we actually look at a trail that we're able to be successful in achieving, as opposed to going back all of those years where we're unable to even understand what the region was called at the time and whether or not we were even in those regions at that time period. That's basically what I'm saying without saying it, because those are the remits that we're all controlled under. Because even when you and I sit here thinking about law, we only have one set of laws, and that's laws that somebody else has put into place. And as a result, we have modified some of those laws and some of those acts to be able to make them work for the times after independence and the development of the nations that we now know today. But the structure is one that we all come back to, and we're like, well, how do we prove that? So as much as we know and we feel that all of the things that happen is completely wrong, we've got the movements around reparations. In the Americas, they were promised 40 acres and a mule. They didn't receive that. And it's just looking at all of the things that were offered and said to have, and the knowledge of knowing that what was done to us is abhorrent and wrong. But now we're in 2021 and the world works in a certain way. It's like, how do we then get that retribution? How do we then get that for every single living person who is classified as an African? How do we do that without taking away from the European for what they have and what they have built? Because everything that they've been able to build on and profit from is a result of everything that was taken away from us. And nobody is prepared to let that go from themselves, regardless of whether or not it's just or justice or reciprocity.